If I were to ask you what predicts brain aging, so things like developing cognitive disorders like Alzheimer's or that Alzheimer's getting worse faster, what would you say? And feel free to go ahead into the comments now before we get to some new research. Some of you might answer things like gender, because we do know that women who develop Alzheimer's tend to see it progress more rapidly than men. Others might talk about lifestyle changes, whether or not you have friends or eat certain foods. Well, researchers wanted to investigate more diverse understandings of brain age using a deep learning model, where we would look at not just Northern Hemisphere Western countries, but Latin American countries and others as well. And after analyzing datasets from over 5,000 participants across 15 countries, they found that, well, inequality was one of the biggest predictors of brain aging. And to be very clear, this wasn't simply Latin American countries are having worse outcomes than non-Latin American countries, but when looking across countries, the greater the socioeconomic inequality and associated features, things like pollution and access to good healthcare, the greater the brain aging. And what's more, remember the gender gap that I mentioned at the beginning of the video? Well, countries that had a greater structural inequality between genders also showed more pronounced effects in those women versus the men, meaning even some of that gender gap appears to be due to inequality. And on some level, I think a lot of you will say, this makes a lot of sense. The stuff that we associate with brain aging, even things like access to good healthcare, access to certain types of lifestyle, access to friends and relationships, is going to be related to socioeconomic equality as well. So as we've been saying in the therapy and sociology community for many years, if it can be explained by socioeconomic inequality, it's probably because of socioeconomic inequality.